Hi, this is Terry Maynard. I am doing a sample training video for Stephanie at SkillPath. I decided to choose the workshop title, Dealing Effectively with Unacceptable Employee Behavior. I'm assuming that workshop rooms would be set up, handouts ready, agendas written up, or smart boards ready, and slides are ready. When people arrive, I would welcome them, and I would introduce the course, something like this. Welcome to dealing with Welcome to dealing effectively with unacceptable employee behavior. It's my hope that when you leave here today, that you'll walk out with the tools and knowledge to help any kind of challenging employee be more productive and cooperative and maintaining good relationships, especially not harming them. Regardless whether your employees are the type that are having challenging attitudes, like we would call Amy attitude, or blame is Bob. You'll find out more about these types and how to have effective tools for dealing with these employees. What I'd like to do before we start is like you to introduce yourself. Tell us what your name is, your title, the employment that you're working at, and what made you come to this workshop. What are your expectations? Now, I'm giving a little time out on the video. At this time, I would either flip chart expectations, I would jot them down on my piece of paper, I'd write them on the smart board, but I would document these for referring to the agenda a bit later. Okay, time to continue. Well, thank you for sharing your concerns and your expectations for today. I have no doubt that we'll be able to accommodate them by the end of the day. For example, any of those concerns that I've heard about brewing, I'm glad you mentioned that, about noticing there's a brewing up of anger. We'll be looking at that in the first of the 4 agenda items. We'll be looking at 15 signs of brewing. So hopefully that will answer that kind of question. The other questions or concerns we heard was about how to offer constructive feedback. Sometimes what you think may be constructive comes across the wrong way. We'll definitely look at how to do that, how to offer that constructive feedback. And then we hope that you can retain and develop employees. The last thing we want to see is that you need to let a good employee go. But sometimes that cannot be helped. So we will talk about termination and how to do that effectively and safely for all parties. So let's, before we start, I do want to go over a bit of housekeeping. This is a full-day workshop from 9 to 4. We'll be stopping for lunch for half an hour and breaks in the morning and afternoon. You've seen where the washrooms are, and all the handouts can be kept and taken by you. Now keep in mind, I do welcome questions. Please get my attention at any time when you have a question about any of the content. Your questions create dialogue. Dialogue is how we learn, by discovery. And at the end of the workshop, you will be given an opportunity to evaluate me, the workshop material, and this session. So please keep that in mind. You can look at the workshop evaluation now if you want, so you know what kind of things we'll be asking for. Now, before we start, I do want to quote one person, Dan, one of our trainers. He said something that I think really makes it important for this workshop. He said, when you improve your ability to coach constructively, criticizing, and lawfully disciplining difficult employees, everyone wins. Your co-workers will be more productive, happier, and easier to work with. Your turnover will be reduced, you reduce cost, and quality of products and services will increase. That's an important thing to keep in mind, and that's what I hope for you by the end of this workshop. So with that, if there's no other questions, let me start off with the first of 4 items on our agenda. So this morning we'll be looking at identifying the root causes for performance and problems, and then taking a look at tips for maintaining a clear and open communications channel with a problem worker. Then in the afternoon, after lunch, we'll be taking a look at how to positive intervention techniques for turning performance problems around. And lastly, when a problem persists, how to conduct a formal discipline conference. So let me start off with the identifying the root cause of the problem, because it was already brought up when you introduced yourself about brewing. That was a concern that you have, and that is a concern for us too. As you see, we'll be talking and looking at 15 different signs, and brewing is one of them. I'm not sure if you remember or have heard when people leave a place of work if it's caused by anger or brewing or performance. In many cases, it is out of anger or I guess the environment where people will leave. So that's why it's really important to take a look at that. Before I show you the 15 different signs that we've noticed, I'd like you to share, what have you noticed when it comes to brewing? What made you mention that earlier, and what kinds of brewing have you noticed? Just want everybody to take a moment and share any kinds you've seen. So at this time, I would encourage people to share, and then thank them for sharing, flip chart it, or make a note of it. And let's start again. And thank everybody. Thank you for sharing that. And as you see on the slide, many of you guessed the 15 different types that we already have, some of the types that we have. And that's very important to do that, because noticing ahead of time and early is a way of keeping any kind of damage down from any kind of unacceptable behavior. That's key to the learning. So at this time, I'm going to stop. I'm not sure if this is enough for the video sample, but again, it's not, without the workshop room, I feel out of my element. But if you want different examples or see me do a facilitation in an actual workshop, I can certainly arrange that. So hopefully this is helpful, and thank you again for the opportunity.